Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Nick and I'm a welder fabricator, and I release instructional videos on welding every Sunday. So welcome to this one. We're gonna be making a big steel entry gate, and in this video I'm just gonna be going over the very beginning process of it, and that is the drawing and design process. So this was done even before I bid the job to the clients. So stick with me to the end and you can see exactly how I designed this gate and how I did my cut list, and I'm going to give all of that to you guys so you can build one yourself if you want. A lot of these tips and techniques and the way that I designed this gate can be transferred into a lot of different designs and builds. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give this video a like. If you have any questions, let me know. It really helps me out when you guys interact with the video. And this kind of content is usually going to be what's on my Patreon. I'm not going to do one of these detailed cut lists and design videos here on YouTube. But if this is something that you're interested in and you're actually trying to make this stuff and it's really going to help you out, please hit me up on Patreon and I'll be releasing all of that for each and every build that I do just in my daily business. So I hope to see you there. Hey guys, so here's the gate that we're going to be making, and as you can see, I've drawn it up here on Procreate. And you don't have to do this on Procreate or any sort of app like that. I've done this for years just using a piece of paper and a pencil, but this is a very important step in the design process, and this is something you should do before you even order your material or talk to the client about it. Just draw it out and plan exactly how you're going to be building this, and always keep in mind the materials that you're going to be using when you're doing so. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to just break this gate down into the different pieces that we're going to be using, and we're going to get a really good idea of how exactly this thing is going to go together before we even step foot in the shop. So let's begin with just the general measurements of this gate. It's going to be 4 feet wide by 69 inches tall, and that 69 inches is going to be from grade. So the gate is going to have a 2-inch gap at the bottom, so the gate itself is only going to be 67 inches, but the posts are going to be 69 above grade, and that's just to allow the gate to go back and forth and not hit the ground when it's opening. So let's keep going and look at the interior of this gate. It's going to be made out of 1/8-inch sheet metal. 1/8 inch because it's a really nice rigid metal that's strong. It's not going to warp or flex, and since there's so much negative space in this gate, it's going to be able to support itself without doing anything crazy. The frame is going to be made out of 2x2-inch square tube, and the thickness of that square tube is going to be 14 gauge. And now 14 gauge is something that I use all the time for tons of projects. It's a really versatile thickness of metal. It's easy to cut, it's easy to weld, it's not too heavy, and it just looks really good. So that's what the frame is going to be made out of. The hinges, we're going to have 2 of them. They're going to be 5-inch bullet hinges, and these you can get where you purchase your steel, or you can get off of line. These are just weld-on hinges, and they have a pretty high weight capacity. You're always going to want to check to see the weight capacity of the hinges compared to what you're making. The manufacturer can give you those details. So for the posts, there's going to be 2 posts, and these posts are going to be the same dimensions as the frame. They're going to be 2x2-inch square tube, but the thickness is going to be 1/4 inch. So it's going to be beefed up a little bit from the frame, and that's just so that we minimize the amount of flex that they have as the gate is being operated. And these posts are going to be 93 inches long each. So we're going to have 69 inches of the post above grade, and then we're going to have 2 feet in concrete. So 69 inches plus 2 feet is 93 inches. Let's talk a little bit about the design now. The design is going to have a 2-inch wide gap here at the bottom, or going through all of them. And we did that to mirror both the posts, the frame, and the space below. So that 2-inch wide gap is going to allow us to be able to see through the gate a little bit to still provide privacy. And this little area at the bottom is going to allow their dog to see out, and people go crazy for that. So, so now that we kind of have an idea of exactly what's going on in this gate, let's start talking about how we're actually going to make it. So now we're going to go over the cut list for this gate. And as you can see here, I've kind of drawn out on the gate where it's going to get cut on the four corners. And so let's talk about that a little bit more. So this frame, we're going to need 2 pieces for the sides and 2 pieces for the top. So the sides are each 67 inches, and we're going to need 2 of those. And those are just going to be that 2x2 square tube, and it's going to be cut at 45 degrees on each end. And then for the top and bottom, it's going to be 4 feet, also cut at 45 degrees. And it's important that you cut these mirrored to each other. So you're going to have to cut them and then flip them over if you're using a miter saw, and then cut them again. And that's just so that when we put them together, they will add up to 90 degrees, and we'll be able to just stick them together and make our rectangle. Let's go over now the caps. So when we have these 2 posts in the ground, they're going to have no caps on them. We're going to need to cut some caps out of some scrap metal that we didn't need for the interior of the gate. So those are just going to be 2x2 squares that we're going to cut out with an angle grinder and weld onto the tops of those. The caps are going to be 1/8 of an inch thick, which is really important to remember if you're doing a project that's not like this, because it's going to add an extra 1/8 of an inch to whatever you're doing. Since they're going on the posts, we can just put the posts in the ground 1/8 of an inch more, and we don't have to think about it. But if you're doing something where you don't have any wiggle room and you're trying to get things to line up, you always have to take into account any caps that you put onto your sticks. So we're going to need 2 of these bullet hinges, and we're going to need 2 of these posts at 93 inches. For the interior, we're going to need 1 4x8 foot sheet at 1/8 of an inch. These sheets come in 4x4, 4x8, 4x10, and 4x8 is the smallest that we can order that we can get our full sheet out of. And so we're going to need 1 of those. And so since I've drawn everything like this, I know exactly how many linear feet of tube I need and how many sheets that I need. And so when I go and I call my steel supplier, I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to be needing. So I'm going to be needing 19.16 feet of this 14 gauge 2x2 for the frame. I'm going to be needing 1 15.5 foot length for the posts and 1 of these sheets. Now, when you're calling the steel supplier, they're going to have most of their things are going to come in 20 foot lengths, and those are called a stick. So for this 2x2 square tube that's 14 gauge for the frame, I'm just going to call and I'm going to say I need 1 stick of 2x2 square tube at 14 gauge. And 1 stick is going to be 20 feet. I only need 19 feet, so that's going to be perfect. For the posts, I'm going to say I need 1 stick of 2x2 square tube with a 1/4 inch wall, and that's going to be 20 feet of that. So I'm going to have 5 feet left over, 4.5 feet left over, and that's going to be perfect. And then for the sheet, I'm just going to say I need 1 of those. And there you have it. That's all you're going to need to order from the steel supplier. So it's only 3 pieces of metal that you're going to need to order from the supplier. So this is a really simple build, really easy, and really just a great beginner project to start working on. And I will be going over exactly how to build this in the next video, and when we can meet at the shop and I can actually show you how we're putting this thing together in the real world. So I will see you then. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye.